Good evening, everyone. I'm Ann Crimmings, and I'm very happy to have you here tonight for sharing our, and I'm very happy. Are we doing okay? It is. This being. Did we turn it?
Need to be louder.
That.
It's gonna help you.
Oh, yeah. The first person I always thank.
You just be about it.
Someone for it, but did we turn it on?
Yeah.
Can we turn the speaker up?
That's why I asked.
Okay.
Okay.
It worked, yeah, it was working fine earlier. But we did. About the sound.
No, this one's for.
Okay. It's always something.
This is exactly right. I mean,
Yeah, it's,
and you know, it's not
Extension. Overhead projector in the back of the
Right. That was on practice. Oh, and then I get on that. Oh, okay, so like, all else go, but somebody else is here.
okay, we're going to start, and I will use my projection voice here. Good evening. I'm Ann Crimmings, and welcome to Sharing Our Stories. I'm very happy that you're here because we have a wonderful program tonight with Pastor Peter Okyere. And but first, some announcements, and I'll introduce Peter in just a minute. But first, I have a few things I need to share with you. To begin with, I'd like to say a sincere thank you to Doug Haddix and Linda Carr for making all the arrangements for Pastor Okyere to be with us tonight. And as always, I want to thank Hassan, who's at this very moment out there taking care of a problem. He is, Hassan Chomert is our tech volunteer. And as you have probably noticed, if you've been here for more than 3 minutes, he is essential to our operation. A couple of notes about our program tonight. First, I'm going to ask the Zoom audience to please turn off your camera and microphone. You'll still be able to see and hear the program, but it will reduce background noise for the Zoom audience and for the audience here in the library. The presentation will be about 40 to 50 minutes or so, followed by a question and answer session. And we'll begin the question and answer session with questions from our library audience. For Zoomers, you can submit questions on chat and we will read those aloud for Peter to answer. And then you will also have an opportunity to ask questions by voice if you'd like to. And finally, our next Sharing Our Stories will be June 26th. That's a Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And our speakers will be a father and son, Anoop Behera and his son, Advik, who is 16 years old. And they will be giving their perspectives on the Behera family's emigration from India here to the United States. So I think that will be a very interesting and warm presentation to hear father and son discussing this life-changing event. The June program will be our last for the 23-24 season. I'd love to call it a season. That means we will not be having a program in July or August. Our 24-25 season will begin in September, and we're aiming for Tuesday, September 24th. Please look for announcements early in September for our program at that time. And now I am pleased to introduce to you our speaker, Pastor Peter Okyere. Peter currently serves as the Scioto Valley Presbytery as a pastor for immigrants and refugees. In that role, he is a ruling commissioned elder in the Worthington Presbyterian Church right here in town, where he leads a monthly service for immigrants and refugees called A Light to the Nations, and we'll hear more about that tonight. He's an emerging leader in his church. This is why I started by thanking him. He is an emerging leader in his church and community, and we are so fortunate to have him here tonight to be hearing Peter and his family. His family is also here, and we welcome you to hear of their story of immigration from Ghana and how they established a new life here in the United States. So please join me in welcoming Pastor Peter Okyere.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Before I start, I would like to thank all of you for coming. I would like to thank my family, my wife, my lovely wife, Rebecca Entry, my daughter, Ohinewa, and my son, Kelly. And I have a little baby, 3 months old, getting to 4 months, baby Joy. When she was born, we were discussing about Joy during our adult education. So she came at the right time. So she was named Joy. And I would like to thank all of you once again, especially my church members from Worthington. My own senior is here with me. Luan is a very good man. When I first met him at Worthington Presby, he was the nominating committee chair, and I was nominated to be a deacon. That was my first time that I had an encounter with him. And for the guests who introduced me here, they have also been of help to me. When I was doing my seminary education, they were my mentor. They were shaping me during my course. Glad to be here. Before I start, I want us to pray. Just a short prayer. Father, we thank you for such a gathering. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for the life that you have given to us tonight. We pray, Holy Spirit, come and take control so that the discussion will bring us together. Show yourself tonight in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. As I've introduced already, my name is Peter Okyere. But I believe that most of you will pronounce it Okyere. In our local alphabet, we don't have C in our alphabet. So in English, it's Otychere. Since we don't have C in our local alphabet, normally the K, we will pronounce it like C. So that is why it's called Peter Okyere. Okay. I'm from Ghana. Ghana is a country in Africa. When I came here, a lot of people know that Africa is like one country. Africa is a continent. You have north, south, east, and west. So Ghana is a country in West Africa. So from here, if you meet anybody, tell the person that Ghana is a country. And it's a country in West Africa. So that is where I come from. Actually, I didn't plan traveling to United States. It was not in my plan. I did not plan to travel. Right after school, I went to United Kingdom. I stayed there for some time. So I decided to go back to Ghana and settle. I went to Ghana and I met my beautiful wife, started life in Ghana, started my own business. I have been doing evangelism work for a long time. So I was preaching on radio stations across Ghana, doing evangelism through towns and villages in Ghana. One day I was at the office working, and then my wife called me and said she has received a call from a group of people saying that she has been selected to travel to United States of America. So I told her, please, I don't want any problem. You know, the kind of scam people and then how people are call people and then scam them. So initially I did not believe that. So I told her to ignore those people. So they keep on calling her. So they showed her their office. So I didn't go with her. I asked her to go and see whether that was true. I believe that you have heard about diversity lottery program that they do for Africa and other countries. So my wife was selected to travel to United States. So because of my business, I decided to join her and then look at the environment and leave them here and go back and continue my business. But God knows what he was doing. When I came back here, after 6 months, I decided to go back to Africa and look at my business. When I went back, I was into selling of vaccines. When I went back, all the vaccines at my shop has expired because my secretary couldn't take care of the business. So I lost a huge money. So I decided to return back to the States. Okay, we will go there. But before then, I want us to talk about a little bit about my country, Ghana. So next slide. Oh, sorry. So okay. So Ghana, as I said at the beginning, the location is West Africa. It's between the countries of Cote d'Ivoire, that is Ivory Coast, and Togo. And then to the north, it borders with Burkina Faso, to the south, Gulf of Guinea. So Ghana is, all the countries that surrounds Ghana are French-speaking countries. Ghana is the only country that is surrounded by all the Burkina Faso, they speak French. Cote d'Ivoire, they speak French. Ghana is the only country that is in the middle of this country that speak English. Ghanaians don't learn English in America. English is our official language. So the mode of education in Ghana is English. But the difference is that we are taught in the British English. So some of the pronunciations and then are a little bit different. So from primary to all the educational level is taught in English. But Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, they are all French-speaking countries. So in Ghana, we have, okay, let me go back to, so this is the map of Africa. This is a map of Africa. And Ghana is there in the red. So Africa is a continent on its own. So Ghana is there. So in Ghana, we have regions. Like, for example, in the United States, we have states, Ohio State, New York. Ghana is regions. We have 16 regions in Ghana, 16 regions. So that is the Ghana map, and these are the regions in Ghana. The Hafo, the Ashanti, the Bono. The capital city is Accra. That is Greater Accra. That is the capital city. So we have 16 regions in Ghana. The population of Ghana is 30.8 million people, according to the census 2021. And we have 75 ethnic groups 75 ethnic groups. So we speak no less than 75 languages. So 30.1 million people speaking 75 languages. In America here, the only language that is popular is English and then maybe Spanish. But in Ghana, we have close to 75 languages. But there's one language that about 90 to 95 people in Africa, in Ghana, understand that language. That is Akan language, or the Twi. So the Twi, although it's not official language, but 95% of Ghanaians can understand the Twi language. So we have different cultures within the same country based on where the type of language that they speak. They have their own culture, they have their own food, they have the way they sing, they have the way they dress in our country. And looking at the picture, we have a king. Every ethnic group has their own king. So this is one of the prominent chief or king in Ghana. His name is the Asante. If you have been following the news recently, during the war, when British was the country that colonized Ghana, and they took some of their gold about more than 200 or 300 years ago, and then they sent it back to the United Kingdom. Recently, they loaned that gold that belongs to us. It's our own gold. Now they are saying that they are loaning it to us. So they loaned that gold to us for exhibition in Ghana. The gold that they took almost 300 years ago. So this is the Asante of the Ashanti region in Ghana. It's about one of the powerful chiefs in Africa and even in the world. So King Charles once invited him for the coronation. So most of the people are in the urban and coastal areas, including major cities like Accra, that is the capital city, that is a highly populated place in Accra. And then followed by Kumasi, the next city in Ghana, and then the Takoradi. Most people are in the coastal areas because that place started the development because most of the Europeans settled there. So we have the castles and those things at the coastal areas. As I said, the major ethnic groups, the ethnic and diversity, the major ethnic groups are the Akans, the Dabani, the Ewe, the Adangwe. So each of these groups primarily located in different regions in the country. Ghana has literacy rate of about 76.6. Currently, from primary school to senior high is free. The government has made this possible so that at least each and everyone should be able to read and write. One of the problems that we face in Ghana is about our health. So the life expectancy in Ghana is not all that high as here. So Ghana faces health challenges like malaria. So if you come here, if you are moving from America to Ghana, you have to take a vaccine or you have to take medication for this deadly disease, malaria. And some of you who have followed the missionaries, those who went to Africa first, especially the whites, they were having issues with malaria. HIV and AIDS is everywhere. It's in America, it's in UK. But when we come to Africa, because our healthcare system is not all that vibrant or strong, most people with HIV and AIDS are having serious problems. And then there's stigmatization. So some people have even those affected with AIDS are not able to go to the hospital to take their medication. So maternal mortality with a life expectancy of about 64 years of age. So at the time when I joined Waddington Presbyterian Church, I was surprised to hear some of the announcement that some people have got married for about 60 years, 50 years, and it's interesting. It's interesting. People are celebrating their wedding anniversary, 55 years of marriage. You know, it's a blessing. Life expectancy in Africa is not like that because we don't have, the healthcare system is not good. We don't have a system whereby the nursing homes and then, you know, where here you send people to the nursing home for them to have a proper care. We don't have those things in place in Africa. Okay. So when you come to Ghana, about 71.2% are Christians. A lot of people believe that. I'm not saying anything, but about 80% of the population in Ghana, Christian population, are Presbyterians. Yes, about 8%. We have Presbyterian schools, colleges, and even universities in Ghana. So Ghanaians, majority are Christians. Okay, and then we have our traditional African religion. And then we have Muslims too there. But there's one unique thing in Africa, in Ghana, we don't have any conflict or disagreement, any conflict when it comes to religion, because we all go to school together. We school together, we stay in the same place, so we don't have any problem when it comes to religious conflict. Ghana is a democratic country that we elect our president every 4 years, as it happens in America here. Okay, so I think now I can go straight to my story. Okay, but if you have any question, when I got done now, you can ask your question. As I said earlier on, I didn't plan traveling to United States. It was just by the grace of God that I'm here. Maybe on his own, he wanted me to be here. That is why I'm here tonight. When we were coming from Ghana to the United States, something happened at the airport, which I have not shared. I don't think my wife even knows that I'm going to share this one. When we were ready to come, we just went to the airport. We came with Delta Airline, which I have advised myself not to take that airline in my life because of the experience that I had when we were coming. We bought a plane, the Delta flight 9923 from Accra to New York. So when we were about to take off from the airport, the pilot said they have detected a mechanical problem. So we have to wait for some time. We were in the plane for 2 hours. And then they said, oh, we are ready, now we can go. The plane couldn't take off. So they asked us to wait again. And I can't remember, some of the people in the plane, some of the passengers decided to get off the plane. When we were coming, my wife was pregnant with my son, Caleb. And my little daughter, Hinawa, was about six months, yeah, a year. And that was their first time of, you know, traveling with a plane. And you can imagine what was happening in the flight. We were panicking. So I was praying. I didn't know whether I decided to remain calm. People were getting out from the plane. So they told us that now it's ready. They are able to fix the problem. So it's time for us to go. So we delayed for 2 hours due to that mechanical issue. However, the second attempt at the flight took a turn for a worse. About 4.5 hours out over the Atlantic, the captain announced that the Boeing 762 had a fuel issue and that they would have to land Puerto Rico, but there's no way the plane will be able to take us to New York. Emergency crews met the plane on arrival. So you can imagine, the first time I'm traveling with my family, and we encountered this in a plane. A cabin crew member shared with the passengers that the plane had a fuel leak. Because a pilot had been inspecting the wing through the window from the inside the cabin prior to the departure, leading passengers to believe there was known maintenance issue prior at that time. The experience was so scary. Why? Because my wife was pregnant and I was with the whole of my family. So the journey for about 11 hours took us almost 22 hours. We were stranded at Puerto Rico. My mom has been here. My mom is in New York. So he decided to come and meet us at JFK. She waited for hours. So she has to go home. And I'm not sure she was able to even sleep. So when we got to, by the grace of God, we were able to get to Puerto Rico. Everything was fine. And then we had another flight to New York. So that was the beginning of my journey to United States of America. When we landed at New York, I looked at the place and I said, no, there's no way I can stay here with my kids. Because I had an experience in London before, the way the place is, how, I said, no, I can't raise my kids here. So we decided to move to Columbus, Ohio. When I got here, I said, oh yes, I can stay here. It has not been easy relocating to United States. It has not been easy at all. The cultural difference, everything is different from here, like compared to Africa. I was lucky to travel before to United Kingdom, so I was a little bit okay. I was able to adjust myself. But my wife and my kid, that was the first time that they were traveling. So when I got here, it was not easy for me to get a job at the start. I applied jobs, I will go for the interview, I'll be looking, I'll be waiting for a response, and I'll wait and wait and wait without any response. So it was not easy for me to get a job. And where we went to stay first, I thank God, my cousin was so kind to us. She gave us a room. We were not paying anything. She was providing everything for us. But I said, how long would I stay here? So I went back to Ghana and I took some money from my savings and then returned back to United Kingdom. And then we decided to rent an apartment. So we had our first apartment at Waddington Meadows. That was where we went to stay for the first time. Some of the challenges that we faced here was, first, how to adjust to the system, how to get work, and how to support ourselves. I was lucky to get a work at Zulele for the first time. I went for 3 days. I couldn't continue because the work was so difficult. the parking, and then the kind of pressure that they were putting on us, I couldn't survive. So I decided to stop. So one day I said, no, I have to go to school. But how would I start? So I can't remember when my son was born, I was working 2 jobs. I was doing a security job, and I had another job at Farmerforce at Hilliard. So I worked 16 hours a day. That is only working for 16 hours, because without that, there's no way I can support myself and then my family. I can't remember, I was working at a Verizon main office at Hilliard. I was a security guard there. So one of my job was every hour I have to use the car to patrol the area. It was my last patrol. Then I'll be done for the job. My last one. When I was about to park the car, I didn't know that I was still sleeping while driving. Because I was working 16 hours. That is 16 hours for work. So if you take away the hours that I used to eat, it means that the whole day I was working. So I worked there 8 hours, and then right from there, I have to go to Farmerforce, which was a little bit closer, to continue on the next 8 hours. I did that for not less than 4 months. And then that security job that I was doing, I can't remember, they can even ask you to go and work at Chillicothe. So for me to drive here to Chillicothe to work 8 hours and come back and continue another 8 hours, it was not an easy thing at all. So I decided to go to school. Said I have to go to school. So I said, what should I do? A lot of Ghanaians and the people that I came to meet, most of them are doing healthcare jobs, like nursing is one of the jobs that most immigrants do. But I decided to do radiology. So it was not easy for me to even get admission to do that course. I went to Columbus State, and then the number was 125. And then they told us that they are going to admit only 25 people out of over 100 students. So doing my observation at Riverside, I met one guy called Mark. So Mark told me, Peter, you want to go to Columbus State? I said, yes. I said, you will wait for 3 years because it is not easy for you to get in. So I will advise that I'll show you a place, Marion Technical College. So I don't even know there because I'm new here, so I'll give you the address. So he gave me the address, and I have to drive 45 minutes to the place when I was doing my associate degree for radiology. My wife was so helpful. So when I decided to go to school, my wife was working. So the only thing that we were thinking about is to pay our rent and get something to eat for those hours. So things were not easy at all. But by the grace of God, I was able to finish the school within 3 to 4 years. I was done. Then when I finished the school, my wife also decided to start school. So she started the LPN, and then after that she did her RN, and now she is doing a BSc. So after doing my radiology, I decided to go to seminary, and then I went to seminary. But I want to say something about Waddington Presbyterian Church. When I wanted to go to school, we have to find a church that is close to us, a church that will close so early for us, so that at least it will help us, because we were going to a Ghanaian church, which was a little bit away at Ramsey at Wasabo. It was about 25 minutes drive. from our home. So we find Waddington Presbyterian Church. And that too was another issue that I have to deal with, because their way of worship was entirely different. Everything was different. Everything was different, but I decided to be with that church. When we went there, I think we went to meet about 3 Africans, one African American, and then 2 Africans, one from Cameroon, and then the other one, I forgot where, but they were coming, like they come this week, and then you see them another month. So when we go to church, it is only us who are immigrants or Black people among the very big congregation. But because of the love that they show to us, the fellowship, the way they welcome us, I decided to be with that church. And I was nominated to be a deacon. I served as a deacon. From there, I served as a presbyter on the section. And then through the same church, they helped me when I was doing my seminary education. So that is what I can say about my story coming here. It was not easy, but by the grace of God, we were able to survive. And that is how the Lord has brought us to this far. As an African, I didn't leave everything aside. I came here and I'm proud of my culture. I'm proud of my food. I'm proud of my, my clothes, like what I'm wearing now. I decided to put on this one so that some of you will be running away. I decided to put on this one. I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of my language. So as an immigrant, I bring my African heritage, including my tradition and my language with me. Wherever I go, I don't leave it behind. I go with my culture because that is how God created me. And I'm always proud to be an African. So my story, as you have heard, reflects the resilience and determination shared by many seeking a better life. When I came here, I decided that if I have left my family, I've left everything aside, and I'm in America here, then I also have to chase for the American dream. That was my determination. That I will not be here to beg, but I am here to survive, and I'm here to make an impact, not onto my own life, but to the life of others. Because it is not easy for immigrants to integrate with the culture, and how I struggle to survive, by the grace of God, I've decided to also help other immigrants to also know how to adapt themselves to this culture. Because at the beginning, I didn't know a lot of things. If I knew certain things, I could have, maybe things could have been easy for me at the beginning. I didn't know a lot of things. Sometimes I was stranded. Even how to find a job was a problem for me. How to even write your resume, what we call our CV, what they are looking for. I didn't even know those things. When I decided to go to school, how to start was a problem for me. So after going through all this, I believe that I'm in a better position to also help others. Maybe that is the reason why God, in his own way, brought me to this country. That is why, by the grace of God, with my church, we have started a new mission, a new thing in our presbytery to welcome immigrants. And during the introduction, we meet all immigrants from all nations, last Sunday was our 3rd service. We meet every 4th Sunday of the month. Immigrants from all nations. So the light to all nations. So we meet once in our church. It is not only for Presbyterians. Our doors are open for every immigrant. It's not about only for Christians. Our doors are open for any religion. Muslims were there. So I'm part of the interfaith community that I attend some meetings. We welcome everybody because we believe that our God is there for each and everyone. So I will also take this opportunity for you to know if you have anyone, any immigrant, if you know any resources that will help immigrants, well, let me know and connect me to those people. I'll also help others. So this is my story. Thank you very much.
Let's begin with questions from the audience right here. And Peter can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Peter, have you addressed citizenship in the US yet? Or have you become a US citizen yet? Or?
Okay, thank you for that question. Now I am a US citizen now. Cool. I came with a program. So when we were coming, we were having our papers already. So when we came here, it was about less than 6 months, our green card was ready. So after 4 years, you can decide to be a citizen. So we decided to be a citizen. So we are a US citizen now. Yeah.
What's your impression of the American church?
I will start by saying that culture is a way of life. Culture, I will start with their culture,
Okay.
because culture is a way of life. Yeah. So the American church is their culture, you know, is their way of life, the way they do their things. That forms the church. So, but if you compare the American church to the African church, there's a vast difference. So the way we organize our church is different from the way Americans do. Because, for example, if you come to Presby Church, which I'm in now, the way they organize it here in America, they do their service within 1 hour, they are done. In fact, the last time I was serving the communion and we closed 1 hour, 15 minutes, and somebody came to me and said, Peter, today it was too much. I said, why? No, because it's 1 hour, 15 minutes. And I told, you are lucky. If you come to Africa, you can even spend 3 hours in our church. That's what I'm saying, that it's a way of life. So we spend too much time during service because there are a lot of activities within our church. We dance.
Oh.
Yes, we dance, and that will take about 30 minutes. We start with dance. I wanted to show you some of the videos, but I couldn't show you some of the videos. Those of you who have attended the Light for Our Nation, you've witnessed that before. So Ghanaian or the African way of worship is different. That is our culture. And it is not only in the church, even in our traditional religion. That is how they do. We have time for music. Music is part of us, and our music is about dancing. So everything is different. For example, when you are doing you are taking your offering, it's different in America. Here, you guys will sit down, but we will not sit down. We will dance and give it to God. Yeah. So there are lots of differences. Yeah, but the sermons are the same. Yeah, the hymns are the same.
What year did you come here?
Okay, we came here 2024.
What? No.
2014. 2014. Sorry. 2014. 10 years. 10 years now.
Wow.
March 2014. Yes. My coach is at the back. Any question? Yeah.
Do you work with this that organization?
Yes, that was the first people that I.
The question
Okay.
for our Zoom audience.
If you work for Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah,
Community refugees and immigration service.
yeah, I don't work for them. But
With.
yeah, yes, I work with them. I've had 2 meetings with them. I've been at their training for the first set of a course with them. So I'm working with them, and they are the people that controls the immigrants. So I brought some of our, can you bring me one? Sorry. Yes. And we are doing this one with Chris. And we are having a program this coming Saturday at our church. So I work with them.
I think you mentioned your mother is in New York.
Yep.
Do you still have other family back in Ghana yet?
Okay.
Or what's the?
So we are 6, 5 brothers and 1 sister. We are 6. So my mother has been here for not less than 20 years. She has been in New York not less than 20 years. I and my senior brother 2 years in Connecticut. I was with him at London before he moved to Connecticut. So we are 3 here. My senior brother is in one of my senior brother is in London now. My sister is in Ghana. I have 3. 2 of my brothers are in Ghana, and then with my sister. And then I'm here, my brother is here, and then my other brother is in United Kingdom. But my mom has been here about 20 years. But she is in New York. Yeah, she'll be coming here on 5th. Yeah.
Could you talk a little more, Peter, about how you came to Columbus from New York? Like, why Columbus? And what is it about Columbus that made you and your family want to stay here?
Okay. Some of my family members are here in Columbus. Majority of my family members are here. My cousin is here. My mom is in New York. When I got to New York, I've been in London before. I've stayed in London before. New York and London, they are the same. There's no difference. There's no difference. And my mom is living at Bronx, that area, which to me, I don't like that place because I have kids that I'll be raising them. So I said, Mommy, I can't stay here. So let me go and check Columbus. Yeah. So some of my family members are here. That was why I was able to come to this place. Yeah.
So you came here 2014 to Columbus?
Yes.
Or to New York?
Oh, we spent only a night, 2 days in New York. Yeah. In fact, we were even supposed to stay just a night, but because we had an issue when we were coming back, so we were tired. So we spent only 2 days in New York. All of my life, I have been in Columbus here. Yeah. So first, I was staying at Moss, around Moss area in this year, and then from there we moved to Waddington. And we have been in Waddington we were in Waddington for about 8 years. Currently, we are living in Delaware. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this program on Saturday?
Okay, good. This program is a special exhibition for immigrants. Yeah. So they are going to display some of their artworks. So all these artworks were done by immigrants as they were coming to America from different countries. So this art will be displayed at our church. Yeah. I think it's good that day today are having farmers market. Yeah. So when you come to our church, you see most of these arts. So they are from different countries, and they are telling their story when they were coming to the United States of America. So we are all invited. Yeah.
I'd like to know, since you went from your country your children go to school here, what is the difference? What is your experience with the seeing your kids go to school here than in home country?
Oh, I wish I could have shown you some pictures. In fact, I have to organize one day with you and show you the schools in Africa and the schools here. I don't even want you to use the word difference. The difference is too big. When I was in Ghana, I went to school in a village. There was no light. There was no light. From primary school, here they call it Natasha, what do they call it? Elementary to high school. Yeah, to high school. There was no light. There was no light. And I quite remember I used to, when I was in elementary, one exercise book, I'll be using it for 3 subjects. So annually, I have an organization that what we do is that we print exercise books to Africa every year. Every year. I wish I would show you some of the pictures and then some of the. So the school system, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. But it's not all the country. If you go to the cities like Accra, Kumasi, their school system is good. Yeah. But not all the country. In fact, a lot of kids are having problems when it comes to education. It's like here. Some of the schools are not good. Some are good, even in America here. Yeah. Some of the things that I've traveled every time, about 80% of the towns around Columbus, I know that because of the type of work that I do. I travel everywhere. And some of the things that I'm seeing, sometimes I'm surprised. Oh, so all these things are in Africa, in America here? Yes. But just that it's worse in Africa. But some of the schools are very good. Some of the schools are very good.
The reason I was asking them, because I work with a hospital, a lot of people from other countries.
Yeah.
And when the kids come in here, when the children go to high school or elementary school, because the culture is different, they obviously have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Because the parents want to influence their culture, the kids go to school, the culture is different, and that's a lot of problems. So they have to see therapy, they have to see.
Yeah, and that.
Yeah, that's what, a lot of times when you have your own culture, you want to teach your kids, and the kids go to school here, the dating, whatever they're doing is different. And now the kids want to involve with other kids, and the parents disagree, and that's what a lot of times is a problem.
Yeah. And then the mode of education is too, is different, but it just take a few days or months, they will be fine. And I'm telling you that, yeah, most of people that are coming from Africa to this place, excuse my language, they are the refined one. For example, some of us who are coming from Africa to this place, when we go to school, it's easy for us to study. We don't find any difficulties. It's very, very simple because it is not easy. The things that people have access to in terms of education here, we don't have it in Africa. So if you have those things in place, it's easy for us. So if you are an African here, most of us are, let me say, the refined ones. The ones that the government has spent so much money on are the ones that travel to America. So now what is happening is that the Western world are harvesting the products of Africa. They are just harvesting them because our people in our government will plant everything, and when there's a harvest time, the Western world will just come and harvest them, and that is what I can say. So all the African people that are here, especially from Ghana, it's easy for us to go to school. It's easy for us to do whatever we want to do when we go to school because it's easy for us. The system here gives us everything, which we don't have in Africa. If we have all those things in Africa, we will excel so easy. So when we come here, for example, I was working 2 jobs, but I was still going to school. My wife is working, having kids, but still, it's easy for us to go to school here. We doesn't have any difficulties when it comes to studies, no. unless the person doesn't want to study. Because what we go through in Africa, like some of us, we went to school without even having lights. So if you are in America here, you have all the light, you have library. It's not easy for you to see library in some of our communities. Here we have library, you have everything is for people to study here, especially from Africans. Ghana, Nigeria, it's not difficult for us, unless the person has decided not to study. Because our educational system is vigorous than here.
So Peter, is your education system more parallel to the British system where you keep
Yes.
testing people? And if you don't test high enough, you just.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
So
So that, yeah,
that's
so
part of the different opportunity here, is you don't have all those extreme testing.
So here it's easy. I'm not saying that it's easy to study, because in our system, the weight at the end of the year, then you test. When you fail, that is it. But here the system, at least before you take your final exams, you know that you pass. So the system here, I will not say it's difficult than Africa. Africa is very, very difficult because we don't have access to even textbooks.
Question, because I'm also Ghanaian, that's how I know pasta before. I also migrated here when I came, well, I had to go to high school, and I think I was in 9th grade, but I had already done a lot of the courses in Ghana, so technically I should have been in 11th grade. And 2 months into that, I don't know if the OGTs are still a thing, if they students live in high school. But I tried to tell the principal that I shouldn't be in this grade, I should be in 12th grade to graduate, go to college. And he was like, well, we don't accept most of your credits, but if you're able to pass the OGT,
Yeah.
then you can go to 4th grade the next year and finish out the school year with them. I was like, okay, just give me an exam. All I needed was a dictionary. I didn't know anything about American history.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about your science.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about your math, but I still passed all 5
Yeah.
with the dictionary. So as Pastor Conto was saying, we don't have a lot of things in Ghana. When we have to learn about like the parts of some animals, you have to grow it yourself
Yeah.
and live with it to learn it. But here we have, when I was at university in Toledo, we could just go to the lab and
See everything.
Cadavers, we have skeletons, and so you just have to just look at it. But in Ghana, you have to grow it yourself, living the soil yourself, doing everything yourself. But over here, you go to the lab and it's right there, so you just look at it and you study and you don't take the test. So you adjust unless you don't want to learn, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm retired art teacher, and, a lot of my students, I worked in an international school, Boston International, and a lot of the foreign students, and particularly the African students, excelled. They were excellent, they studied hard, they worked, they didn't play around. I loved
Yeah.
It's like they're used to working at it and just,
Yeah, like as I was saying, when the environment is conducive for us, learning is not anything that we have to struggle with. Maybe we may be struggling with the accent because of our local language, which is not easy for us. And if you're not careful, that one will deter you from going to school. Because sometimes, I went to do anatomy. I didn't go into even lectures because I cannot hear anything. I just need a book, that is it. And I was able to pass. I don't need to, I only go for the lab. Because the lab, if you don't go there, you're not going to get your mark. Because even if I go to sit at the lecture hall, I will not understand anything initially because of the accent. But still I will pass. So these things are some of the barriers. So if you are from Africa and you're not able to overcome this one, there's no way you can excel. Even when I went to church Waddington for the first time, it was not easy for them to understand my accent. I am an adult education instructor. It is not easy, but I keep on doing it. And those that have been coming now, they can understand me when I speak. So these are the barriers that we should be able to overcome. We're able to overcome these barriers. So some of the Africans, they are not able to go to school first because of the accent. And this is not our language. You have to admit that this is not our language. You have to be bold enough to be able to cross this barrier. Yeah, because if not that, there's no way I could have even been an adult education teacher at Waddington Presby Church. Because the first day that I was being an instructor, it was difficult for some of the members to even hear what I was saying. But that didn't even deter me. As time goes on, now they are good, they are okay with me. When I speak, they understand. So if you're able to break these barriers, it becomes so easy for you to excel in education.
You mentioned environment. If I got my geography right, I think Ghana sits almost on the equator,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How has it in the change to seeing winter and snow and things?
We don't have snow. We don't have winter. I think during December, November, the weather changes, but it's not all that cold as compared here. It's like when it's hot here, it's cold there. That is what I would say. The weather is always, it's always hot. Yeah.
If you could, if you think about it, there's maybe two things from the Ghanaian culture that you get Americans would learn and incorporate to make us better. What might those be?
Family values. Our culture is different from here. And some of the things that we consider to be no. Americans consider to be yes. Yes. So the culture is different. The values are different. So these are the things that, and I don't want to offend anybody. So some of those things I can't even talk about it. So that makes the difference. It's a culture. So some of the things that we value too much, we value and we want it to be here, it's not easy for Americans to accept it. And some of the things that Americans doesn't accept it from Africa. There are two things. So it's the family value. Family value. That is very key thing. Sometimes I wish some of the values are here. The sense of community, sense of belonging. There are some core values that are different.
So I'm going to ask the reverse question. If there were one or two things from American culture that you could transport to Ghanaian culture, what might those be?
One of the things that I admire here, let me point one, is their customer service. Yes, in America. Yes. Customer service. Yes. In fact, yes. That one, I wish we could adopt that thing, the same thing in Africa. And the secondly, time. Like if you're supposed to start this meeting as 4, it's 4. If you're supposed to close as 5, it's that. We don't have that in Africa. If you are starting at 4, you have to be here at 6. If you are supposed to close at 9, we are closing at 11. So time, yeah, and midnight, time and customer service. Like for example, here, if you can go and buy something, and if you don't like it, you can return it. If you buy something at cost and you don't like it, you can return it at any given time. But in Africa, when you buy it, that is it. You can't return it. Even when you buy it 2 minutes, you cannot return it, no. So the customer service is one of the things that I admire so much. And then the time, so.
Questions on the Zoom one?
There's one. Are there many other people from Ghana living in the Columbus metro area? If so, what are some of the traditions that are being maintained in daily life?
Okay, I don't have the exact number, but I think we have a number of Ghanaians in this community. And the culture is the way we do our service, the same thing. Like the way we go to church, the way we organize our church in Ghana is the same thing that we do here. So if you go to a Ghanaian church, it's not anything different from Ghana. And then our food, we prepare our own food like what we do in Ghana. So our food, our clothing, when we are going out, when there's any tradition, any gathering about Ghanaians, you see that yes, these people are from Ghana, because we still wear our dress, especially when we are having a gathering. And most of our cultures, we are still doing it. Yes, for example, the way we name our children, like on the 15th, I'm going to name my child before baptism. But because I'm going to Wellington Presbyterian Church, they cannot do it the way I like it. I'm doing it in an African community, Saturday, so that the following Sunday, I'll bring my child to my church for baptism. Yeah, so we still maintain that culture. Not like in our church, we don't do any naming. In our church, we don't have that culture. But I have to carry my culture, so I will do that family sitting for the naming, and then the following day, I'm able to combine the culture. I'll send it to my church for my pastor to baptize my baby. So we still carry our culture.
Let me see if there's anyone on Zoom who would like to ask a question. Thank you. Would any of you on Zoom like to ask a question of Pastor? Just want to check. Okay. Thank you. No questions there. Okay. Any further questions from our audience?
How often do you go back?
Okay. This is an interesting question. When I came here, I went back after 6 months. And I recently went back less than on October. So I've gone back to Ghana twice within the 10 years, because it's not easy. It's expensive. And then when you have kids, you can't leave the kids alone. Yeah. But when I grow up, I'll go to Ghana. One day.
Not on Delta Airlines.
No, not on Delta Airline.
Ghanaian restaurants?
Oh, yes. Okay. My wife does the cooking. She's very good when it comes to cooking. So I've not gone out to eat outside before. But there are a number of restaurants, African restaurants, like from Ghana. But I will not be in a position to recommend one because I've not been there before. But they have about 3 or 4. There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there one on the circle,
Tamarack, so there's one
Yeah.
there, there's one on 161, called the beach. And the one on Huntley Road. Yeah, it's right in the corner there. There's Jordy's on Tamarack Circle. Yeah, so there's 3 close to this place.
I think the kids are saying you're done.
Peter, what do you see as your future in the Presbyterian Church here in the United States?
Oh, okay. So, the Presbyterian Church in USA State and then the one in Ghana, they are all Presbyterian Church. So now I am a pastor there helping the immigrants. There's no difference. It's like being in the Ghanaian Presbyterian Church. So my future is what I'm doing now as a pastor, and I'll continue to do that. And then there's no difference. Yeah, just that I am under PCUSA, but it's still the same. So my future is to be a pastor, and I'm doing it now. Yeah. It's just that maybe I might not know where to go from here, but this is what I've started. And what I've started now is a new thing, even in the presbytery. We don't have this one in the presbytery. So I don't know where it will lead us to, but God has started something.
Thank you.
But delightful. We appreciate you being with us so much tonight. Thank you. And bringing your beautiful family too. Linda Carr has an announcement. Linda is sharing our stories. I should be back here. Sharing Our Stories is an initiative of the Worthington Interfaith Neighbors Organization, and Linda is one of the co-directors. She wants to tell you about our festival in August.
I need to come back here.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that are here tonight. You are what make these programs work. And I get excited every time when we can have discussions, because that's how we learn about each other. And when I think back when we first started WIN 10 years ago now, I mean, that's the mission, is getting to know each other, understanding each other, and we're all neighbors. And, you know, we all come from the same cloth. So anyway, thank you. But I want to say in August 11th, mark your calendars now, that is the date for our Festival of Faith and Nations held at Selby Park. And last year we were really excited. We had a lot of tents all the way around the park. And we had over 325 people there. So the park, we want to fill it up this year and have lots of tents. And some of the cultures are going to be bringing food that they will have at their own tents also. So, you know, we look for new and different things every year. So come and check us out. Okay. And we look forward to seeing you on August 11th.
And we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, June 26th for Anup Behera and his son, Advik, talking about their experience of emigrating from India, an intergenerational conversation. Thank you so much. Good night. Yes.